Hey, what is going on, guys? Today we've got another lifestyle projector. We're going to do an unboxing, a setup, and give some initial impressions. Later on, I want to compare this to the Valerion Viewmaster Pro 2, but today we've got in the house a Hisense C2 Ultra. So this is another lifestyle projector. So this can be used in a dedicated theater room like this, but it's also portable, which is super cool for those of you that want to do like outdoor Super Bowl parties. Maybe you want to rent a big screen or buy a big screen, put it outside on a big massive image. You've got that option as well. So nice packaging here. This is going to be a really small form factor. You can already see here, I do like the fact that they come with the adjustable stand. That's something that the Valerion did not provide. Let's go ahead and get this bad boy unboxed here. So got quick start guide here. On the very top, we've got a remote. Here just a little bit, got some batteries. Definitely nice thick packaging. So I like that. Protected during shipping. Inside here is going to be all our accessories. So we've got our power cord, big power brick. Lay that off to the side. And you can see here how it's packaged. It's got some nice hefty weight to it. All right, let's go ahead and bring the camera in closer. Interesting way they package this. All right, here we go. Let's check this out. So definitely quite interesting on the style and look and design. I like what I'm seeing. Definitely has a very modern feel to it. Even just this little detail right here. We got plenty of ventilation. Looks like on the bottom, down on the front. These may even be speakers in here. We'll check that out. We've got some perforation right up here. So again, that may be some ventilation there. We'll remove the plastic cover. So it looks pretty cool. So we're gonna get this set up in my theater room, get it fired up. Let's take a look at the menu system. Spinning around the back. So on the back, we've got infrared, we've got audio connection, eARC, another HDMI, USB 1 and 2. Those are 3.0 connections. You got a SPDIF connection, audio, as well as an Ethernet port. Down here, it looks like that's where we're going to plug in our power supply. So that's where we'll take this right here. That plugs in right in the back. Then we've got the other side of our power connection. Plug it in right here. So some things that I'm going to be curious about is I noticed that this swivels. So is that, do we have any remote control on that? Or is that just, handheld to position it? Again, this is the first time ever experiencing this. I haven't watched any videos on it. So I'm learning as I go. And then even up on the top here, you can see we've got some holes up here as well. Again, that could be speakers, could be ventilation. We'll confirm that once we get everything set up. So we take a look at the specs. We've got 3000 ANSI lumens as far as our brightness, 110% BT 2020 color space, 2000:1 contrast ratio. We've got an optical zoom from 0.9 to 1.5:1 ratio. You can achieve up to a 300-inch image, no vertical lens shift, so you'll have to manually place this in the position that you need it. We've got support for HDR10+, HDR10, Dolby Vision, HLG. It's an RGB triple laser, and it comes in with a retail price of $24.99. All right, so we're powering it up for the very first time. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the lights. So once we boot it up for the first time, looks like it's already doing some automatic settings. So we'll go ahead and select our language. We've got 4 options. You can have front mount, front ceiling, rear mount, or rear ceiling. So in this case, we just got a standard front mount. So in my theater room, I do not have a Hisense projection screen, so we're gonna choose others. My location is USA, time zone is Eastern. We'll connect to my Wi-Fi. And now we're connected to my network. So you've got some privacy options here. You can choose what you want or skip it. I've selected the privacy policy and agree to end user license agreement. We'll click OK. So this is set up in my theater room, so I'm gonna give it a custom name and call it theater room. If we want to register it, you can scan the QR code. I'm just going to click next. So we've got a couple screens here talking about Netflix, Apple AirPlay, and HomeKit. And then the home button on the remote, we'll hit to the right, let it finish setting up. All right, so it was really quick. That took all of maybe a minute to set up. So that's really nice. So as soon as you get this in your home, you can know that you can be rocking and rolling within a few minutes. Colors right off the bat, very vibrant, a lot of color saturation. So we're using that BT 2020, 110%. Moving around here, navigating the remote, and the screen is super snappy. I mean, like I'm whizzing through this. So definitely it's got a very good processor in this. Yeah, man, definitely liking that. So one thing I did notice is the entire remote, almost all of the remote is backlit. The only buttons that are not backlit are the power button at the top left, and then all 4 of the buttons at the bottom, the Netflix, YouTube, Prime, as well as Disney Plus. So those are not backlit, but I definitely like the fact that the rest of the buttons are fully backlit. That's definitely cool. All right, so I'm gonna hit the menu button. Let's come over here. Let's go down to settings. So picture mode, we've got standard, enhanced, filmmaker, cinema day, cinema night, dynamic, and sports. So quite a few picture modes there. If we go down to picture mode settings, we can adjust things like the laser luminance level. Right now it's set to 8. Brightness is at 50, contrast. So these are just default settings, saturation, sharpness, and so forth. We got some advanced settings here. Again, you can go into more detail on the brightness. Got some additional settings here for color, for clarity, motion. So as I was going through the menu, it does say that we have an update. So we're going to go ahead and update the unit and see how easy that is. So the good thing is we are not hardwired. This is just connected through my Wi-Fi. So that's good to know that you do not have to have an Ethernet connection to be able to access your streaming services as well as make updates to the software. So that took right at about 1 minute to download the 700 megabytes. It's going to verify the package and install that. So we've updated the software. That took all in all maybe about 3 to 4 minutes to download as well as to install the latest software. All right, and here we are back up at the main menu. So we'll go back into the settings. So down here in the picture. So honestly, these are very similar to what we saw with the Valerion. So we've got auto keystone. So if you've got this angled up or at an angle, it'll do its best to get those lines straight and square for you. We do have manual keystone, auto screen alignment. We've got the auto focus, manual focus, display zoom. So we can come in here and change the zoom to fit your desired space as well as your screen size. So one thing that's interesting is they do have the option for position adjustment, but of course this model does not allow you to adjust that. So it's just going to say adjustment limit reached. So here we have some 4K HDR footage from YouTube. So I just paused it because I want to go through some of the settings in the menu just to show you just how that, changes. So if we come over to the picture mode, actually I'll tell you what, let's go to picture mode first. And so if we go to standard, we can see there's a lot of contrast. It almost looks a bit unnatural to me. If I go to enhanced, doesn't seem too much there. We may actually have to have that in playback mode and not just paused. Filmmaker mode is going to make it almost, there's definitely a darker image, but it also makes it a little soft. And so we lose a lot of the detail in that. So that's not really my preference. The one I found that I enjoy the most is Cinema Day. Cinema Night is a little bit darker, probably a little bit more natural, but I like the brightness that we get out of the Cinema Day. Dynamic looks pretty rough. I mean, it looks very unnatural, very harsh. It doesn't even look like a beautiful owl. He just looks kind of like a funky creature. Sports isn't much better. So to me, just depending on the level of brightness in your room and what your eyes prefer, I really like Cinema Day. We get the brightness, we get the some additional contrast and sharpening, but it's not overly modified. So let's go back and go into picture mode settings. I'll show you a couple other things. If I go under the luminance level, of course, you can crank this up or down depending on your liking. I like to leave it all the way up myself. I'm going to go all the way down to advanced settings. Under brightness, we have some options here. So I'm just going to show you what this looks like on and off in the ultra. So here we have off. If we do high, it begins to change the hue over to more of a green. Definitely doesn't look natural to me. And then if we go to ultra, it's almost yellowish. So neither one of these look good in my opinion. So I'm going to leave that off. If we back up, if we come down to light sensor settings, if I hit on, just makes it a little bit dimmer. Again, I like the brightness, so I'm going to leave that off. If we come down to adaptive contrast, there's a couple settings here. So low actually adds definitely some nice contrast. I like what I'm seeing here. When we go to medium though, it gets a little too intense for me, and then high is just pretty bad. So my opinion, I actually like this on low. Off looks fine, but it does look a little soft in the background. Hitting the low brings out some more of those shadows, or as far as those dark areas, kind of enhances that. So if you want to help imitate that, deeper dark blacks, you might want to use that set to low or off. I think either one of these looks really nice. Just depends on how much contrast you want in your image. So I'm going to leave that on low for now. Scenario enhancement, didn't really see much happen here. Again, that may actually change depending on what content we're looking at. Down here in dark detail, that's on. I don't really see much difference there at all, switching back and forth. So I'm just going to leave that off for now. But the great thing about this projector is we just have a lot of, options here. So this, you can see the color temperature is set to warm 1, warm 2. We've got standard, we've got cool. To me, honestly, I kind of even like this warm 2. Warm 1 is just definitely more vibrant and just kind of in your face. Warm 2 is a little bit more subtle, but we don't lose all the color and the texture in the owl. Standard begins to shift those color, totally a different direction than what I would like to see it. And I definitely don't like the cool. So I'm going to leave it here on warm 2. Let's come down to color gamut. So what's interesting, if I go from auto to native, so we do get more color and contrast in the background where the green is. So that's auto. If I switch to native, it gets a little bit more saturated back there. Same thing with his, the color of his feathers. So again, this is kind of more, it seems more natural. I bet if I go to BT709, yeah, so see there's no difference between auto and BT709. But then if I choose native, it kind of brings more orange into it. So I don't know, this definitely looks more natural to me. So I'm gonna leave it on auto for now. But as you can see, there is quite a bit of options for you to calibrate, to be able to really just tweak this to your likeness. So just play with the settings, but I love the fact that we've just got a lot of options here in clarity. Again, you've got some default settings. Don't see much changing there. Yeah, not much at all. So I'm just going to leave that on low. And I know with motion, some people prefer to have motion on. Some people prefer to leave it off. Again, you would need to be watching something to be able to change back and forth between this. I'm going to leave it on clear for now. I don't mind a little bit of motion. I just don't want to go too extreme with, trying to improve that motion. But overall, man, I really like the image that we're getting out of this. I think it's a beautiful image. It's definitely bright with 3,000 lumens. I'm really excited to put these side by side. I'm gonna, in a future video, I wanna compare this directly side by side with the Valerion Pro 2 because there's $500 difference in it. One thing I do really appreciate with the Hisense remote is almost all of our buttons are backlit. I mean, almost everything except for the power button, and then those 4 presets at the bottom for Netflix, YouTube, Disney Plus, and Prime Video. So well done, Hisense. I appreciate you doing that. That makes it much more user-friendly. I'll leave a link to the Hisense C2 Ultra down in the description below. Definitely check it out. Might be a good fit for you and your home theater. Let me know in the comments what you think about this projector. Hope you guys have an incredible week. God bless, and I'll catch you in the next video.